You do it all without breaking a sweat, and you do it all in style. From being a boss exec to the Tuesday yoga to the kids' homework, family dinners, lunches, brunches, trips to the vet, and a weekend getaway that's anything but a getaway. That's why Infinity fully reimagined the QX60 to help you conquer it all with ease. Even when you have back-to-back conference calls, on top of kids' basketball practices, not to mention your side hustle. A luxury SUV as functional as it is stylish and as versatile as it is serene. Available features like seating for up to 7 passengers, a suite of active safety features, and massaging front seats. Introducing the all-new Infiniti QX60, designed to help you conquer life in style. Legal, now with extremely limited availability. Contact your local retailer for inventory information. Hola, and welcome to episode 82 of Word to Your Mama. Word to Your Mama is a podcast about the life of a Latinx mama, that's me, and the lives of my amazing multicultural tribe, a celebration of shared experiences navigating this dynamic world. There will be special guests, mad laughs, and absolutely no BS. No BS. Nah, B is our motto. Segments by the Supernatural Bear. He's my little man, 9 going on 49. But other than that, this podcast will be explicit. Please believe it. Now, the level of explicitness, is that a word? Will depend, it'll vary. But yeah, just a little warning there. Today, we have Angie Fuentez, a.k.a. DJ Ill Meca. Now, she is a ball of positivity. She's Afro-Latina. When I was looking for dope Latina DJs in the LA area, I reached out to her. And so that's how I got to know her via, we talked a little bit, via text and stuff, but started following her and seeing her videos of her spinning gigs. And I was like, she looks like so much fun. Like, I want her to DJ all the stuff. I want to go and dance and see it because she looks like she's having so much fun. Like, we'll have links to all that stuff. And I said, if you listen to a previous guest, we had Spinurita on here. I was like, yeah, that's like same energy of like someone just having a grip of fun, and it permeates the entire room so much so that it translates through video and social media. So I was super excited to have her on and have a discussion, being Afro-Latina, being Mexican and Black, growing up in LA, you'll hear her story. And also it's great that she seemed, really well supported by both sides of her families, which helped to create this great sense of self, because it could have gone the other way. But because West Coast LA, we're not rolling in Afro-Latinos. So I think it was great to get to the root of that. And also when she decided to go into DJing, a car accident that taught her patience, and how when she decided to go full-blown into DJ, she went to the right place. She went to the famous Beat Junkies Institute of Sound, and we talk about so much more. As always, after that segment, her segment, we'll have the Supernatural Bear Corner. We'll see what he comes up with. And then after that, we'll have the outro. So, yeah, Ill Meca, ball of energy. I love her so much. I cannot wait to dance while she's spinning live. Hopefully soon. We're still in the pandemic, kids. So, yeah, let's get into this. Super cute. It's super good. Like, I've never seen anything like that at Ross.
Thank
Like,
you. I know I have another one in my DJ room that's really cool too. It's like channeling like folklorico vibes. It's really
mm,
cute. So
that's
I found
cute.
it at a Ross too.
Come on, you got the Ross luck.
Right? Because I never look. I'm just like, mira, a ver qué encuentro. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh, gold.
Finds treasures. Okay, so let's start off with how are you doing? First and foremost. How you told us about Wednesday, but how are you doing overall? Because, you know, contrary to popular belief, it's still a pandemic.
Sure.
So how are we doing?
You know, it's definitely been the wildest, I want to say, 2.5 years of my life. 1.5 for sure. I feel like the beginning of the pandemic wasn't as bad. Like it was like, okay, you're testing the waters, you don't know what it is. You're kind of like, all right. But for sure, the last 1.5 years has tested my patience in a way that I've never had them tested before. But it's crazy because I'm one of those people who always likes to just like work on self and just kind of self-improve and check in and just, I always want to be a better version of myself, right? And one of the things in like my prayer and meditation that I've always asked God is to help me with my patience. And let me tell you, when you ask for something, I draw my hair out. When you ask for something, you will get it. And you have to be really careful about the things that you ask for because it definitely, in a whole lot of different ways too, like work, family, creativity, just everything. But I feel like I'm over the hill, right? I feel like I'm over the hill.
Felicidades.
Gracias. And I honestly feel like, even though I couldn't see it, obviously, at the time, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it really does. And it's so hard for us to accept that and understand it in the middle of everything that we're going through. But I can definitely see how it was supposed to really help me level up as a person, as a sister friend, as a DJ, anything, like everything aspect of my life. I feel like it really helped me just look at everything full circle and really just look inside and say, okay, what are you doing? And like, I'm really looking inside to better find my purpose. And I think even though, I don't ever feel like you arrive, it's just a journey. That's how I feel like you continue to grow and evolve. But I definitely like where I am right now. So I feel good about it. I can say that now.
That's great.
6 months ago, I don't know.
You were in the trenches. That is so true. It's hard when you're in the middle of it, when you're in that moment, and just like, why is all this? But then later you make it, you persevere and you make it to the other side. And you're like, oh.
Yeah. And it's really like that. And it's crazy because even the last thing that took me over, that brought me over the hill, that was like, okay, then it started the dissension, right? I was in a car accident and like I was on my way to work. I was literally like 4 minutes away from work. And I'm like, and me, obviously, music lover, music curates my whole life, right? Like the soundtrack to everything. So I'm very much that person that I can't take off until I figure out what song I'm going to play. Like
same.
I'm very much that person. And so I remember I usually have a friend who lives across the country, and he and I usually speak in the mornings, right? Checking on each other. And so as soon as we got off the phone, I was like, okay, no, I'm almost at work. I need something to give me a little boost, honey. And I had just threw a track on and I was like, oh, I was feeling good. Turned off of the main street and I was like, okay, I was almost to work. I was good, honey. And this lady ran a stop sign, T-boned me. And when I tell you, I've never been in an accident like that, like super small fender benders, like nothing, really nothing. But this thing right here, like she hit me. We were on a residential street on top of it. She didn't see the stop sign, obviously. I didn't have a stop sign, but she was going so fast. She literally like, so I was going this way and then she hit me this way. The car ended up next to hers.
Oh,
Um, and luckily the house that was on the corner where I ended up in front of had a camera and was able to catch it, which helped me a lot with like my insurance because she was fighting it. And I'm like, girl, and it's crazy. She even got out of the car. I was so frazzled, right? She got out of the car. She's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, this lady that car just ran the stop sign and hit me. And she's like, and I didn't know it was her. I was like, stop sign and hit me. I was just so frazzled. And she was like, wait, who? She was like, wait, that was me. I was like, you ran a stop sign. And so she was like, what? She literally said, what stop sign?
Oh, no.
And I literally was like, that one. It was the wildest thing. And even just the whole and I had just got a car in September, brand new car. And so, and it wasn't even about that, but it was just like, I was just in a good place, you know? And I was just like, okay. So then it was such a process with the insurance and the rental car. And just even now with the pandemic and just trying to get a new car again. I mean, it was harder then, but now it was like, no one has cars and trying to go through that. And I was just like, Jesus. Can you man? Like that's like I'm just like I couldn't. That really just like that. It was a month and a half of just going through all of that and like going to therapy and stuff for my back. And it was just like, you know what? At that point, I think I really understood fully on a different level that when things are outside of your control, it doesn't even like stressing about it does nothing. Being mad, honey, does nothing. Like just drink some water, eat some fruit, and mind your business, and put some music on, and just dance to the next event because you just never like you have no control over those things, you know. So it really taught me that, and I think. Like I said, definitely in the middle of it, I was just so frustrated. Everyone around me saw it. But I think I really, really, really understood on a whole different level, I think how just random life can be and how you can really feel like you're on top of the world. And then the next thing you're like on the curb with no shoes on. Like, I mean, I had to, you know, but you're just like, you know, you're just like, huh? Like you're totally like, what? Like, I was just going to work, you know, and it's just like, it just really taught me to just appreciate every day, every moment, and just be grateful and just really, but on another level. I feel like I've always had that, but just on a really larger scale. And it's something that I carry with me, even like this morning within the midst of all the craziness I was dealing with. It's like, you do.
What can you do? So how's your back now?
I'm doing a lot better. I'm still going to therapy. I actually just had an MRI like a week ago. So it's still a work in progress, but it's definitely not where I was when I had the accident. So I'm grateful for that. I'm doing a lot better, which actually was so, one of the things too that I think hurt me the most, not just physically, but mentally is like, you know, with DJing, I have to stand up.
Yeah.
And I would literally just power through and sometimes I'd be DJing and I'd be in so much pain, but I would push through because it actually brought me so much joy. It brought me like a sense of normalcy, and it brought me back to the things that I enjoy. And like, it helped me just even be in like a little incubator for like, even if it's an hour or 2 hours or however long my set was. And then afterwards I just, okay, I got to go lay down now. Like, you know, that was it. But I'm definitely better. Thank you for asking.
No, that's good. Well, I'm glad to hear. And I'm glad to hear lessons learned. Like someone else could have been in that same accident and just been pissed at the world and nothing would have come out of it. And it just would have been even a worse downward spiral. So I'm glad that, you know, your outlook is what I predicted, that, you know, you stay positive even in the messiest of times. So I wanted to kind of touch on, where were you born and raised?
So I was born and raised here in Los Angeles. I grew up actually in the area that I still live in. I didn't always live here. So after I graduated high school, I went to Dorsey High. So I ended up moving to Downey, which is where a lot of my family stays. And I lived in Paramount for a while, but pretty much like Mid-City South LA is where I grew up and where I've pretty much just been for the majority of my life. And I'm such a little LA baby for sure. Everywhere I go, I rep LA to the death for sure.
And I wanted to also, I thought it was very important too, to really touch upon, for personal reasons, because my son, the supernatural bear, he's mixed, and he's when I was telling him about who was going to be on, and I was telling him about it, he's like, oh, she's like me. He's like, but without the Korean. And I was like, yeah, without the Korean, but Black Mexican. How is it, growing up in San Diego, but being super into hip hop and like dreaming of moving to New York and it was, Gen X during that time. I was only because of hip hop, I was knowing about Afro-Latinos. We didn't have them here, really, So I wanted to see how unique, was that growing up being Afro-Latina in South LA.
At that time, so I basically grew, not to date myself, because, we don't like to do that, honey, but I'm doing it. So I basically, it was like the early 90s, right? It was a really interesting time. I think it was interesting because so I grew up, my mother is Mexican, my dad is Black, and I pretty much grew up with my mom's family. And my mom, she was born in Mexico. Her family immigrated here when she was like 6. I have a really large family, typical traditional Mexican family, let me say. And so it was really interesting because I grew up in, South LA. And so I think it was like the best of both worlds because like at that time, my mom's family lived in like Huntington Park and Gage, and so, sorry, my AirPods never stay in, honey.
Mine neither. I think I have small holes. Do we have small
I think, I don't know how people run in them and do all this stuff.
Exactly.
It ain't for me. Give me some over the ears all
day.
Time, right? And I should have did that and I didn't, but whatever, it's my bad. But yeah, I think I got the best of both worlds because I went to school and it was like predominantly African American. We did have Latinos, obviously, but I got to really experience both sides. Because when I'd go to like my family's house, it was like my family was very much, no me hables en inglés porque yo no entiendo. And I actually learned Spanish. That was my first language. And then I started to learn English in school. My mom speaks English, but it was like they always wanted to make sure I learned and I knew Spanish. And so it was literally just that immersed in that on the weekends. And because like my grandparents have like 11 kids, I have like 1,000 cousins. So every weekend there's a party, there's a birthday, there's like a asada, it's Saturday. So we want a carne asada, we want tacos. It's like, it was always experiencing both. So I thought that was really cool. Also growing up in this area, so I didn't really run into or see a lot of myself like Afro-Latinos just around. But I think the really cool thing was that I grew up with a lot of Belizeans and Caribbean people.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah, and that was the connection for me. It was just like, so like a lot of my early childhood friends, my best friend growing up, and even just like my first like real boyfriend, he was Belizean, and it was just kind of like, wait, what? Wait. And it was just like, it's like, wait, so where's Belize? Wait, and why do y'all make tamales? And like, we make tamales, but like, but why are your tamales bigger than ours? And why do you wrap them different? And it's like it was, girl, here, go to AirPod again. And so it was like that type of thing. But it was like, I was so drawn in. I was like, so there's people that look like me, whose hair texture is similar, all these different things. And I think that totally changed the experience for me, where I felt a lot more comfortable, because I feel like I always say, like, my regular just American friends, right, like that don't have like roots anywhere outside of America, like it was so different, my experience, when I'd go like hang out with their families or be in their houses. I'd be like, oh, okay. Because even like with Belizeans, again, they listen to soca music. They're listening to things like that I'm familiar with. Like, we listen to cumbias, and there's music everywhere, the foundation, there's food. And I think it just really made me feel at home, in a totally different way. And even just part of that also is a really big reason why I just really always play and love like reggae music and dancehall music, because I really grew up with it. Yes. And it's like I was like, I actually have like families that I grew up with that are Belizean. I'm like an honorary Belizean, and so it's just. It was really cool. It was really dope. I think it was really interesting, especially during like the riots and stuff like that, when we had like all the race wars and all the different stuff going on. I think it was really weird for me processing all of that, being like 9 or 10 years old, because obviously I don't understand. And for me, in my position, I'm like, what are you talking about? We're the same. Like, look at me. I'm just one big person. Like, I don't know, and it's just, I just never really could understand like the hatred that, that I would see sometimes in even if it was on the news, or even just people like in the streets or something. And I'd be like, what? It was the craziest thing to me. Like, I just couldn't understand not liking someone because of what they look like or because of what they sounded like. So that was definitely, it was a learning curve, I think. I think my family on both sides did really good at just teaching me how to love myself, and
that's great.
And to just, so I never really felt like had like identity issues, I guess. Like, really, nice. I was comfortable, I think, just with who I was, always. And I just knew like I wasn't I don't even want to say the norm, because what is that? But, I knew that it was something that, that doesn't happen that often, I guess. Especially, I think, for, like I said, my mom wasn't from here. She grew up here because she was 6. So she went to school here. So, she definitely had a love of like, again, the culture, like, and like hip hop music. And even, just for her generation in the 70s and stuff, it was like, she had her own experience, and it kind of trickled over, I think, with me. And she was always one of those people who, even like, because we would get looks, right? Because me and my mom, it's funny because we actually look a lot alike. Mm-hmm. I'm just like the chocolate version of her with different hair, right? She has curly hair too, but it's just like, so it's funny because people would always be like, oh, whose little girl is that? And she's like, mine. Like, my daughter, what are you talking about, right? But it was just like, she never was like offended or offensive, but it was always like that. You're good, you're enough, you're beautiful. It was never, like I said, on both sides, I never really felt out of place, I guess.
Yeah.
Which was dope.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too. If you feel symptoms, even if they're mild, you should test fast. Test positive and at high risk for severe COVID-19? Then act fast with authorized oral treatments that can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days from when symptoms begin. COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too by asking your healthcare provider if an oral treatment is right for you. Learn about a treatment option at treatcv19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
I think that's amazing that you grew up in the area, because when like the last couple years before we boned out of LA, we lived in close to that area in the Dons, and everybody I met Belizean, and then Rocco he's like, oh yeah, no, this is like and then I started noticing when I was driving down like Crenshaw and Slauson, and I was like, that's Belizean, that's Belizean, that's Belizean. And he's like, yeah, no, there's a grip of Belizeans here. So it seemed like you said, it was, you had best of both worlds, and then you had like the extra like Belizean. It was like another type of close representation. Yeah. That's like it seems like a gift, like you're honorary Belizean and da-da-da. Like that's amazing. So another question I wanted to find out is, what is your first music memory / what was your root? Like, what was your root into being like, music's my shit. I'm going to be a DJ one day. Like, what was that memory? We all have a root of something that started it off, kicked it all off.
Honestly, I don't even remember any point in my life when music wasn't at like an anchor, right? So my grandfather, my mom's dad, he was a mariachi. So literally, honey, when I tell you these, like I would literally on my birthday, las mañanitas, I would get phone calls. Music was the base to everything, And even when I would go to my dad's family's house, it was the same thing. You know, my grandma would play her records and we'd have the Stevie Wonder and the Al Green and they'd sit in the den and we'd talk and the records would be playing. So it's so funny that I feel like it kind of took me a while to even really see it. And I think part of that too, as a child of a family that immigrated here, they never want you to do like artsy stuff, right? They want to, you're going to be a doctor, or you're going to school, you're going to do all. So I was like, okay. So, I'm thinking that this is what it is. So I struggled actually, I think for a while, just trying to figure out like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? But then music again was always the foundation, right? And so I found myself even growing up, so intrigued and mesmerized by like music videos, right? Like Young T raps and like all of that, like the music videos. And then I always really liked dancing as well. So like just seeing that intertwined. And then it was like a thing where even growing up, once I started jiving, like creating a musical experience for my friends. I was always the driver, right? So it's like, okay, what are we listening to? And at that time, you got CDs, right? Take myself in, whatever. So we flipping through, what are we playing? And I'm like, oh no, this, and then we're gonna play this. So I always kind of found myself doing it. And then like in my early 20s, I was like, I always was fascinated. So my grandpa, he played a bunch of different instruments. One of them was the violin. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn how to play the violin, right? So I actually took classes at this mariachi conservatory with one of my aunts. And baby girl, let me tell you, look, here go the AirPod, honey. I don't even know where it went, but like, I really enjoyed it. We just didn't align at that time. It just didn't work, right? And that was okay. I learned like the basis of it. I could play a little bit. The fingering was a lot because I was older. I said, it was like my early 20s. It's not like my grandpa was like, little, I'm gonna show you. I have like some cousins where their kids, they taught them that way. And so they have a bigger appreciation from young, but like the instruments and stuff. But I just tried and it wasn't my thing. And I was like, and I don't even want to say it wasn't my thing because I always feel like I'm gonna circle back and I'm gonna get it, Jesus. I'm gonna get it. But yeah, it was just kind of that. Like I always felt, even when I was lost in the world trying to figure things out, music was my root, and like that was my anchor. And it, one way or another, whether it was just listening to it, going to parties, or like whatever, it was just like, this is what I need. This makes me feel good. And I thought about DJing a lot years before I actually decided to just step into it. But like I said, the music is just in literally everything from my mom cleaning Saturday mornings, playing music. Like there was like, it's to the point where it was so weird if no music was playing. I'm like, why isn't there music playing? Like this is, I'd go to like friends' houses and their families are just sitting around talking. I'm like, why y'all not playing no music? Where's the music? It was really just in everything. Like from my inception, I think it's just everywhere.
What was the final straw, the last straw that was like, I'm about to do this. I'm finally going to do this. Or, what made you decide to do it?
So it was in 2017. So it wasn't even that long ago. It was in 2017. I actually was going through like a really significant breakup. We were in a relationship for like 8-9 years. And it wasn't like a hard feeling. It was just kind of like, we love each other, we care about each other, but it's just not working. We're going two different ways. You know, that kind of thing. But it's a hard pill to swallow when someone's been a part of your life for that long and you live with them and, you know, that whole thing. And I remember I went to visit some family in Atlanta for my birthday in December of 2017. And then when I came back, I was just like, you know what? I want to do it. And my friend who actually lives in Atlanta, he and I, we were talking about it early in 2018 because he also had DJ'd in the past, but wanted to get back to it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then I started to like look up stuff like equipment and stuff. And then I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Right. Like it was really that moment where it's like, I don't know. And so I was like, you know what, let me see if there's a DJ school, right? It was really just like that. I was like, let me see if there's a DJ school. And then I saw that like the Beat Junkies had a school and they had opened, I think it was in 2017. So I was like, oh, easy call, right? I was like, okay. I looked into it and I signed up for their intro to DJing class. And thankfully, because so I work at the Kaiser on Sunset. And so it was, and they're in Glendale. So I was like, oh, I can just go after work. Like it'll work, you know, just like, I was like, all right, it's easy. I got it. I was already planning it out, mapping it out. And yeah, so I took the intro class and I fell in love. It was like, why did you wait so long? Right? One. But I also feel like it was just also the right time because I was in a headspace where I could totally put my blinders on and just focus on the music and focus on the craft. And that's what I did. So I took the intro class. Then after that, they have a foundation class, which is a year that goes further into it. And then it goes into Serato and stuff. And I took that. Then after that, I took their structure class. It was just like, you know, I was like, okay, I'm in it. I'm here. And it honestly was probably the best decision that I've made as an adult, I would say. I think I'm secure with that. I will say that as an adult, that's probably the best decision for a lot of different reasons that I've made as an adult. I think it's changed me for the better. I've met some amazing people, and it's literally something that I'm like, I don't see myself not doing it. Like it kind of feels like, what was I doing before this? Because, like now, like I don't see myself not doing it, you know? Yeah. So it was definitely it was a blessing, and it was one of the best decisions I made for sure.
Amazing. It was right place, right time, right mindset. You needed that distraction, right? Especially after something like that. For so many years, I was there when I was younger too. I remember that. It was just kind of like, there was no hard feelings, but it's still rough. That transition because that person's been in your life for such a long time. I get it. So it's great that you were able to, like you said, dive head first, all in to music. It's something that it was always in you, but it was the time. It was the right time. So now, speaking of time, it is time for the questions and comments from the audience. Ooh. Okay, first one. Being that I'm also mixed, also Afro-Latino, growing up around different types of foods as a kid, which is your all-time favorite? And this is from my son, the Supernatural Bear, who is also Afro-Latino. So he wanted to find out what was, he figured that you probably grew up around a bunch of different foods from both sides of the family and probably wherever you grew up. And so he said he feels the same. But what is your all-time favorite from childhood?
Oh, that's rough. Like just one? Like
just one.
That is tough. If I have to, right? Pick one. I would say chilaquiles.
What? Oh, he's gonna love that answer because he loves chilaquiles.
Yeah,
we just had nacho quiles for dinner right now.
Like my mom is like a salsa queen. That's her thing. Like she makes fire salsa. Like I grew up choking in my household every weekend when she was tatemando los chiles and all of that, right? So yeah, I think like even now I feel so weird like when I'm getting ready to eat and I'm like, well, there's no salsa. Like I feel like I can't eat. I'm like, I can't do anything with this. There's no salsa to go with it. But yeah, I would say chilaquiles.
Oh, he's gonna love that. Okay, next question. What does the Beat Junkies Institute of Sound mean to her, and how has it changed her life? And this is from Word to Your Mama, episode 28, guest Maricel Sisson, founder of Ladies of Sound.
Honestly, going to the school was for sure the biggest blessing. It's really cool to just learn from people that are so awesome and just
legends in the game,
right, and masters at their craft. But also, I think what was really, really inspiring to me was just to see how just regular and humble they are, right? Like they literally, because I think when you see people like that growing up, you want to put them on a pedestal. And like give them the supernatural kind of like, thing, like, oh my God. But just literally the nicest, like my instructors were Babu and Chalk. Nice. I mean, the nicest, just most humble, good people you will ever meet. I don't know how else to say it. Like, and even when I'd be frustrated and then, oh, honey, I told you my patience, girl, I ain't got it. So I'd be frustrated when we're learning something or a new technique and, Angie, you got it, and even just like the motivation and it was honestly, I honestly didn't know what to expect going into the school. But when I tell you, like, even like say if I expected something that was like level 10, I got 1,000. Like it was so crazy because it instantly felt like I got a new family from people that I met that I went to class with that I'm still really good friends with that are definitely friends turned family to, again, the instructors, Silos at the school.
Down Silos.
Man, love me some Silos. His patience is the patience I need, honey, because he is like, he's so smooth and just chill. Like, yeah, man.
I don't think I've ever seen him upset. In all the years that I've known him, I don't think I've ever seen him like riled up.
Wired to even get to that level. I don't even think it's in him to even be that way. The nicest person you will ever meet. Again, super patient and just sat there, even when I was frustrated and sat there and spent some time with me. But yeah, it was literally like taking on a new family that I didn't even know I needed, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like, so I have this wonderful extended bonus family. It was literally, again, the best decision of my life. I will never regret it. If I could just rewind and do it all over again, I would. It was such a good time. Like, I miss it.
Amazing. Okay. Final question and comment from the audience. Her response was, yeah, she is so dope. What is her go-to song to get people on the dance floor? And this is from Word to Your Mama, episode 14, music veteran, DJ Mona Lisa.
Oh, okay. Honestly, I feel like I always think, because I grew up with like such a huge family dynamic where that was just the root of everything. I always think like backyard boogie classics, just hanging out, right? Like what feels good. So I feel like I always tend to go that route. So depending on where I'm at, like I'll throw on some Celia Cruz, right? And I feel like they'll love that again, because reggae and dancehall are such a big part. Like 90s dancehall, honey.
Forget about it.
Look, that is
I got a playlist. Dancehall reggae classics. Like that's all you need. The worst day, you can't not move. It's like salsa too. Like
exactly. So I think those are my go-tos. And then I would say if I'm gonna like like venture off into the hip hop realm, I feel like being from LA, like you definitely got to go with like some OG funk classics, or even like I love the Bay. Like I feel like in a past life I was born and raised in the Bay, honey.
Same.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah.
A lot of my peoples are from the Bay.
Too Short, like
Yes.
look.
Yes.
That's definitely,
Yes.
I would say that's usually where you'll see me playing around, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get you with these. And even if you're fighting it, honey, even if you want to fight me, I'm gonna get you.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, now it's time for the not so rapid fire questions, the AKA slow as hell questions. Are you ready?
Yep, let's go.
First one, 3 words to describe yourself.
Mita? I would say adventurous.
Okay.
Goofy. I am. And I would say optimistic.
Yeah, okay. Next one. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Ooh, that's a good one. The first thing, I'm gonna just go with the first thing that came to my mind.
Okay.
The first memory, right? I was at my grandma's house, and one of her sisters came to visit from DC. And I was like a adolescent, maybe 12 or 13, I don't know, something like that. And I must have been walking around, I think I had my head down. Just, walking around the house, you're not thinking about it. And she came up to me and she took her hand, put it to my chin and put my head up and was like, you always keep your head up.
No.
She was like, you always keep your head up. You always walk proud and stand true and proud to yourself. And you always keep your head high and walk with that. No matter what you're going through, you keep your head up and you feel good and you move that way. And I've always remembered that. Like, I legit probably want to cry right now. I'm not gonna.
I know you're almost making me cry.
Yeah, like, and because I vividly see her doing that to me. And even then, I don't think I fully understood it at that moment, but as it stayed with me my whole life. And I feel like as I evolved and got older, I really, really understood it. And even when I felt down, or even when I was in moments where I was just like, okay, I feel broken, whatever,
Yeah.
I always go back to that. And I'm like, for me, what I always tell myself is like, always remember who you are, right?
Yeah.
Remember who you are. And I think that always brings it full circle for me.
That's beautiful. I love that. Because it wasn't just words, it was actions. And even if you were too young to take it in, you heard it. It was the seed was planted. And then later on when you were older, you listened and you heard it. That's amazing. I love that. Okay. This one's going to be great. I love when I have my music peoples on. What is your go-to need to get hype song? Only one, because I know we have different ones for different occasions, but it's just the one, like the first one on top of your head.
As soon as you said that, tell me when to go. That's the first thing that came. That's the first song that came to my mind. That, even when me and my girlfriends, we go out, don't let that come on. Like my brother's mom, girl, we on the floor, we out there. Every time. I always say I'm gonna be 80 years old and let that song drop, honey. Wheelchair, walker, seat, wherever I'm at, honey.
Oxygen tank, it's on.
I'm here, right? I'm here. So I'm gonna say, tell me when to go, for sure.
That's amazing. And as always, this is going to be added to the Word to Your Mama guest hype song playlist. I know I got some E40 on there. I don't think it's that. I also have some Mac Drake because I have some Bay Area people on here. So I got to see. It might be on there already, but, it's a great addition if it's not, for sure. And as always, it's a very eclectic mix. So I'll definitely have a link in the show notes to that. Final question. What will be your legacy?
Ooh. You did not come to play, honey, today. Wow. Honestly, if where I stand today, I would say spreading love, spreading joy, just everywhere you go, everything you touch. I really, really try to do that and be that person in every space that I enter, whether it's work, being a Nina, a Tia, a sister, a friend. I think just being joyous and bringing some good energy. I think if I'm going, I feel like as soon as you think of me, like she made me feel good and we had some laughs and we had a good time. I feel like I'd say that right off the top right now, I'd go with her.
I love that. And let me just say this. I don't know you. I've talked to you because I was trying to get you for some event, but I'll say this again. I tweeted it. I fucking IG storied it. Like if I get the vibe that you're putting out, the joy that you have on your face and you're dancing as you're spinning, I'm just like, that must feel amazing in person. And I was like, it was like it was one of the trash news times the past couple of weeks. And I was just like, man, music always helps me. It saves me. And I saw you posted something, you spun somewhere. And I was like, people were filming you because they were like, oh, she's having such a great time. And I was like, you and Spin Your Reel, I don't know if you guys know each other, probably, small world, but
we haven't met yet once,
but like, and I was just like, you guys have that same level of energy. Like, I love her because she's having a good time, so it's like you want to have a good time. And I've seen her spin live, and I was like, one of these days I'm gonna see you spin live because I get so much joy from your videos. Anyone filming you or whatever, it's just like there's no faking it. You're not faking it. If you are, you're a fucking amazing actress. You know what I'm saying?
I tried, honey. Let me tell you.
It's like you're playing it for the people, but you're playing it for yourself, and you're passionate and you're so super joyful. So the legacy that you're talking about, I don't even know you like that, and I feel like, yes, that's on point. You spread love, you spread joy. I'm sure if especially if someone comes from out of town and they just happen to accidentally stumble upon like one of your gigs, that's going to be memorable. They're always going to. I feel like they're always going to remember you for what you play, but also how you were playing it. So thank you so much for saying yes to being on the show. I love showcasing, whether mostly as people I know or people that are part of my tribe somehow, some way, and you bring me joy. So thank you so much. And I can't, when it's about to be, I'm going to tell you right now, I love music. I love dancing. I miss it so much, especially because I'm not in LA anymore. So the next time you spin and I'm there, watch out, because it's about to be on and popping. Because
girl, say less, okay? Say less. Don't let me see you. I'm already on 10. I'm gonna be on 20 because I'm gonna be like, yes, the moment is here. Okay.
I love it so much. Thank you so much. To let the people know, like, how can they find you? I'm gonna have it in the show notes, but if they're listening, they can, take the mentals.
Yes. So I am on Instagram primarily. I'm also on Twitter, but like I told you, I really know. So my handle is Ill Meca. That's my DJ name, and that's ILLMECA. So yeah, you can definitely find me there, and I'm always posting videos and my next gigs and where I'm at. So that's where you can find me for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You're the best.
Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it. I had a great time. This was great. Best way to end the day. I love it.
And now, introducing
the Supernatural Bear Corner. Supernatural Bear.
Hello everyone, I am the SNB for the SNB Corner, and today we have two things. The first being a bit comedic, if you will. So I asked Miss Ill Meca as a question what her favorite food was. I was just curious. And I just heard right now that she replied, chilaquiles.
What was that?
Chilaquiles. I love chilaquiles. They're so delicious. But only when they're done right. Anyway, comedy aside, I wanted to get to the main topic of this. Mr. Josh. Yes, not Uncle Joshua. Mr. Josh. I think he'll be on a future episode, but I don't know. So he made some epic comic books, and I read one for an episode and did a thoughts and analysis. And well, he drew an epic picture of Mama and I, but as animals. And it was really cool, and I believe he's making a story about it. And if you want to support him, the link will be in the show notes below. But yeah, it looks super cool. I love it so much. And I kind of want that as a plushie.
Tell the people, explain to the people what it is. Like it's us in what form?
It is us in his art style, but as animals. I am a bear, and Mama is a wolf. Yeah. And it looks amazing. Like, yeah, could you also... She will have the link to the picture as well in the show notes below. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's really awesome. You want to support it, again, in the show notes. Please support. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. See you guys in the next episode of Word to Your Mama.
Shooby-doos. Yeah. I never get it right on time. I never do. Anyways, yeah, that was episode 82. There you have it, of Word to Your Mama with DJ Ill Meca. Was I lying or was I lying? Yeah, she's that positive. I had so much fun. I laughed. It was good timers. Make sure to follow her on all her socials. Make sure if you're following her on IG to engage with her stories because she'll have videos of people that were at her DJ gigs, and you'll understand the level of energy I'm talking about and that you want to be a part of. Like, I want my DJ to be having that much fun. It's like, those that watch a lot of DJs and stuff like that, like boiler room type level stuff, where the DJ's playing beats and everything, but they're also part of the party. Like, their physical energy that they're exuding contributes to the overall vibe. Like recently, Kenny Beats, I talk about him a lot. He was at a boiler room somewhere in Europe, and it was, I was like, man, I guess it's not a pandemic, but damn, that looks dope. It was just like, okay, he's having a good time. The people are having a good time. That's what I'm talking about with DJ Ill Meca, aka Angie Fuentez. Please go and support. Also, all this and, is not possible without what we've discussed and mentioned on many episodes on here, the Be Junkie Institute of Sound. Okay, like we discussed, legends in the game, masters of their craft. If you're going to learn how to do something and if you live close by and you have the means, do it from the best. Why settle for mediocrity? So yes, Beat Junkies Institute of Sound. Everything we discuss, as always, they're going to be links in the show notes. I want to say the Supernatural Bear, I knew he would love the chilaquiles things. He loves those, man. And yeah, he's right. It's about quality. It's not just any chilaquiles. It has to be quality if they're done right. Amen to that, little man. Amen to that. Thank you for the support. As always, there's different ways to support Word to Your Mama. You can email us and let us know, how we're doing, who you want to talk to. If you have any questions or comments, we'll make sure to read them at the next episode. You could donate directly, become a patron. You can buy us a whiskey via Buy Me a Coffee. You can go to the store. We have amazing enamel pins, one made by the Supernatural Bear. We have 2 created by me, illustrated by me. We have t-shirts and tank tops now. Please believe it. Please believe it. I'm my ancestors' vengeance and soy un milagro. Come on, get with it. It's summertime. Pick your poison and, support. Also, we just recently, maybe yesterday, today, I don't know what day it is. I had we have a monthly town hall meeting with the Latino Podcasters Network that we are a part of, and also our brother network, the Latino Pods. And man, there's some amazing things in the works. So I'd also always want to give a shout out to Rita and the entire Latina Podcasters Network crew. I appreciate it. The promos that you hear, all the episodes are we got them from them. They are supporting us and taking care of us. So I really appreciate that. And also just to give you a rundown how it's been going for the past couple of months, and we'll continue to do it, is that, once a month we'll have the Nerd Out. It's me and Lisa B. Jenkins, the whitest, blackest person. You got to listen to her episode to understand what that story is about. Her name is Lisa Jenkins, but she's white. And so that's once a month. We talk about our favorite shows. It's a podcast that we had before, but now I brought it over to Word to Your Mama. So we have that once a month. So we continue to do it. And then where there's always going to be a relatives, me and my relative Naisha, a Mexican and a black girl growing up 2 exits away from the border. We discuss our history, past traumas, black and brown unity. I mean, it's very therapeutic. Definitely check those out. And then we have special guests. And the special guests continue to be someone from my amazing multicultural tribe, whether I know them or not. Because if I don't know them, like Ill Meca, I don't know her well, it's because she's contributed to me in my life somehow, some way, in a positive manner. So look for that. So we'll have every month, once a month, we got the Nerd Out. Once a month, we got the relatives. And then depending on how the month goes, 1 to 2, maybe sometimes depending on a longer month, 3 special guests. So make sure to reach out, let us know how we're doing, and thank you so much for supporting. And as always, we reap. Word to Your Mama is owned and produced by Ritzy P. Intro beat produced by Nico Beats. If you want to know more, you want to email us, you want to get the media kit, go head over to wordtoyourmama.com. Word to Your Mama is now part of the Latina Podcasters Network. And as always, Word to Your Mama is brought to you by ritzyperiwinkle.com.